no one is ever truly going to master this character on a technical level. What's up guys, TheMainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always. I tried to upload a video a while ago on the IGN interview with Katsuhiro Harada and Michael Murray, the top two guys of Tekken Studios. And it was copyright claimed, and I have no idea why. And during that interview, they discussed the new changes and expectations of Tekken 8, how it's not an arcade game anymore. I'm not going to get into that, but important is going to be talking a little bit about the upcoming beta, which will, well, closed network test, not technically a beta. Really looking forward to it. I know you are all looking forward to it. I will be playing it on PlayStation 5, hoping that means I get to play both weekends. So first weekend starts on the 21st. And the second weekend starts on the 27th. The chat will correct me here, but I believe that is the Friday. PlayStation 5 only, the first weekend. And the second weekend, all the platforms crossplay. So that's amazing. We know it's going to be ranked match, but I'm hoping there's a training mode so we don't have to rely on facing an opponent and trying things out. I hope there's a space to try stuff. I believe the Street Fighter betas have always included some form of training practice mode. So that's what I'm hoping for. The heat changes they mentioned is that Heat Dash, they removed the tokens. Remember, you do a heat engager and you get 2 tokens. Or you manually go into heat, you get 1 token. That is gone. They scrapped it. So now when you go heat burst, manual heat, this is so convoluted, but manual heat, you lose some of that heat gauge. You're at like 50%. If you hit a heat engager, you have a full bar, so you have 10 seconds. So manual 5 seconds, 10 seconds if you hit a heat engager. And now a heat dash is going to remove heat. So just like a heat smash, heat is gone after 1 dash. And this is really good. That's my opinion personally, because you would just do ridiculous things with 2 tokens. You could do a dash into a smash or a dash into a dash. And this was so dumb, like with Paul. You know, he would death fist you, and on block, if he dashed out of it, you're like minus 20. It's like, I shit you not, you're like minus 20. And if it connects, you're launched now by a death fist. And then, again, if that failed, he would do another one while you're minus 20. And it's like, oh, did it launch? You died. Was it blocked? Minus 20 again. So heat was very overbearing in alpha, I think, and this is just a way of minimizing it a tad. So I like that. And then they freshened up the UI. It looks much better now. In my opinion, it's less cluttered, it's easier to read. And they could remove those tokens, so now all you have is that heat meter. I think this was a positive thing. And then I want to discuss Bryan a little bit. We see that 3-4, a normal hit, is not a knockdown in Tekken 8, so this is very interesting. We also know it has a follow-up. We've seen that in his trailer. In Heat, that guard breaks. And this was interesting. I saw that his Heat Smash does like no damage. So again, you can do, when he's in Heat, taunt into Heat Smash, but it does like no damage. We saw this in the new footage, so I'm like, why would you ever do that when you can do this? Taunt down back 1+2, which is fairly easy because down back 1+2 is 15 frames. And so there's 1 frame of leniency, right? So, and this is going to be a launcher. That's a launcher when I'm in heat. And if I'm not in heat, this is a heat engager. So why would I do taunt into heat smash when I can do taunt into a launcher? So I think that's going to be the staple. Taunt down like 1+2 is my guess, what it looks like right now. And then I want to give my early thoughts on Street Fighter 6. Yeah, we're baking it all into one big juicy video. I'm very, very impressed with Street Fighter 6. The package overall is really good, the content you get in that game. But it's the first time I'm actually trying to learn Street Fighter. And it's been, what now, 9 days with the game for me, I think. I did play Street Fighter very casually with my brother, mostly Street Fighter Alpha 3 and then Third Strike, but I never learned the mechanics. Now I'm actually trying to learn the game, and it's very different to Tekken, and it's better than Tekken in some ways, and it's worse than Tekken in some ways, which I think is cool. They truly do their own things, Tekken and Street Fighter. The gameplay is very fun. I appreciate that there are only 18 characters and not a million characters with 100 attacks. I feel like, due to that, quickly get into the mind games of the game. Whereas in Tekken, it's just so overwhelming starting out with this game. Whereas in Street Fighter, oh, I look out for Fireball. Oh, you jump in. It's very intuitive how movement works in Street Fighter and what an anti-air is. And oh, he's doing a Tatsu. There are a few specials to look out for. And DI, Drive Impact, is so powerful, and Drive Rush. But I like it that you sort of get a decent sense of the game pretty quickly, and it starts becoming mind games. It feels like a very fair game to me. And I also appreciate that in a time where a lot of fighting game developers are trying to make it easier, which they did with modern controls, but they didn't go out of their way to add comeback mechanics. Because that's how a lot of fighting game developers have made it easier for beginners. They add big comeback mechanics. Like, oh, you got your ass kicked the entire round. Well, here's your reward, this super big button where people die, you know, like Rage Arts in Tekken, or Rage Drives. They don't have any of that in Street Fighter 6. They have, well, literally critical art, which adds a little bit of damage to your level 3. But that's it. There's, from what I can see, there's like no comeback mechanic whatsoever. And I find that really neat and really cool, and doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing. So really hats off to Street Fighter for that. But I'm still very early with the game, but yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm really, really impressed by the game. And in the future, you can look forward to what I think is going to be a pretty interesting video where I describe the differences between Tekken and Street Fighter. In terms of gameplay depth, but also regarding difficulty. And that's the question I get all the time from my viewers. What is the most difficult game? Is it Tekken or is it Street Fighter? And I think this quickly turns into an elitist dick measuring contest. Like, oh, I mastered the harder game. Does it really make a game better being more difficult? Does it make it more higher quality being difficult? But people are obsessed with this, and you see the same conversation obviously with I like MOBAs, so Dota versus League of Legends, you know, that's a debate that's been going on forever. But 9 days in, for those of you, everyone is interested in this, but I find Tekken to be the harder game after having spent 9 days. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a good thing, right? Tekken just is overfilled with stuff. It's not hard to explain why Tekken is a more difficult game. You have 50 characters in Tekken with about 100 attacks each. And this counts as one attack, right? But the reality is that this is one attack, this is one attack, this is also another attack, and this is another attack. All of these have different properties, right? And the thing is, in Tekken, you can do this. As soon as a game goes 3D, it literally adds another dimension to everything, and we need to start talking about tracking, etc. And every attack in Tekken has like a million different properties. How is it on whiff? How is it on hit? How is it on block? How much does it track? What does it do on counter hit? It's pretty endless. So the game is unlimited in its complexity due to being full of stuff. no game really compares, unless we are talking about Dota, but no fighting game compares to Tekken when it comes to its complexity. And then another objectively true thing is that execution requirements in Tekken are endless. People are correct when they point out that Street Fighter in general has more execution than Tekken. I believe that is true. In Tekken you can play Asuka, you can play Claudio, and there's no execution. You don't really need to pick up the Korean backdash to do reasonably well. You don't have to. There's a famous example of a Korean player, Justice, one of the best pole players in the world, if not the #1 pole, and he plays famously without a Korean backdash. So even at the highest level of play, you can play without it, should you want to. But whereas if you play Street Fighter, all of the characters have execution requirements. Like they have half circles, quarter circles, charge mechanics, they have supers. So in general, the level of execution is higher in that game. But that's the thing with Tekken. It has this duality, which I really like, by the way, where you can play a character that has no execution. Literally no execution whatsoever. But you can also play a character like Kazuya, where nothing comes close in Street Fighter. Nothing comes close. It's just endless execution with this character. And the skill ceiling of execution with Kazuya is endless. No one is ever truly going to master this character on a technical level. So you can just start by saying that his most important attack is a true just frame. 1/60th of a second. That's a true just frame. And then, you know, if you want to be boring, you can start talking about wave dash, back dash, movement, and all of that. But the truly interesting thing, and what makes Tekken execution limitless, is the fact that any type of movement can be cancelled into any type of movement. Whereas in any other fighting game, when you jump, you do a forward dash, you do a back dash, you're stuck in an animation. You have committed to an animation. In Tekken, movement is fluid, meaning you never commit to anything. Everything is instantly cancelable. And this also means that one person's wave dash or back dash will not be another person's wave dash or back dash, because movement is limitless. You can have a really strong wave dash, but you can encounter someone who has an even faster wave dash than you, because we are only limited by our own ability in this game. And that's why you can also see an AI-controlled or macro-controlled Kazuya do an inhuman wave dash. And also, one Mishima Master's Electric might be even faster and more consistent than another Mishima Master's Electric. You can actually see, like, oh, that guy, he's faster than that other guy. Or the consistency with perfect electric. You'll never see a Kazuya player, for example, consistently punish hop kicks with electrics. That's inhuman. You can't have that type of consistency. But, oh, sorry, my volume went down. But so I'm just trying to explain that it's truly limitless, the execution demands in Tekken. And your average execution in Street Fighter is higher. It is higher. But when you look at the execution characters of Tekken, I think that there's probably nothing like it in any other fighting game. So, and I could talk forever about the difficulties between the two games. But I think Tekken takes the cake in terms of difficulty levels. But is it really a good thing? Is it a good thing to have 10,000 attacks in a fighting game? That's not necessarily a good thing. And I wouldn't say Tekken is better than Street Fighter due to being more difficult, but it just objectively is, in my opinion. So those are the topics I wanted to cover in this video. I hope it was interesting. And I also want to mention that my YouTube channel going forward is going to have a little bit more care going into the content. It's going to be edited yet again. I've been an Adobe After Effects guy, but I just installed Adobe Premiere, and holy hell does it make the editing process a little bit faster. But I do remember using it like 12 years ago when I was still making combo videos. But so yeah, the content is going to be a little bit more edited, more polished, and every video is going to be divided into chapters. I think it's about time I do that, and especially as Tekken 8 is soon here. And yeah, I'm really looking forward again to playing the closed network test of Tekken 8. I hope you are as excited as I am, and I hope you'll be looking forward to my content with that game. And yeah, that's what I wanted to cover, and I hope you all have a great day. Take care.